This is the American Culture War Iceberg, everybody. And welcome to part 3 of this series. It's hard to know where to begin a video like this. This video touches so many corners of internet politics, and all of them are very obscure. Well, the least I can do is to give you a summary of this project. An iceberg chart arranges information on a topic going from most well-known facts about the subject and then descends until it starts discussing things that nobody knows about. And this iceberg chart is about the American Culture War, particularly internet debates. So, let's just get into the dive today, so please hold on to your attention spans and let's start this! Stage 5, Rapid Rot Progression. In this stage, rot will expand across the minds as we delve deeper into the obscure, checking news feeds over and over again. Every day, every workout is accompanied with more news, more talk shows, and more rot progression as we start to funnel down one of two paths, with becoming paranoid over the actions of the other. Made debate. This is one of those entries where I have to be a little more vague about what I say, because you can't say any triggering content on YouTube, because YouTube is a Catholic church. There are also other things about YouTube that are similar to a Catholic church, but that's a discussion for another day. This entry does not refer to debates over cleaning assistants. This instead refers to a medical practice with quite some popularity in Canada called MAID, which stands for Medical Assistance in Dying. It's a service that is basically the government helping you to off yourself, to now yourself, basically. To be fair to the Canadian government, I'd want a convenient way to leave Earth by my own hands if I had to live in Canada, of all places. You don't even get to experience summer in that place. You are drowning in sticky white goo for like 3/4 a year, and above all that, you have the worst accent out of any country to ever exist. Ethiopians are more privileged than you when it comes to accents and stuff like that. So I understand your desires, Canadian government, to have a system in place to let you do that. But to not be sarcastic, there is a debate on whether the government should be allowed to carry this out. One side says we should be merciful to those who are about to die anyways, even though the Canadian government is doing this to people who aren't terminally ill. Other people disagree and think the government should not have the power to do such things like helping you take your own life. I fall to the latter half, alright? It isn't just the elderly they're doing this to reiterate. Some evidence should be up on screen, like right now, as I'm saying this. I have a belief that most people disagree with when it comes to the government's role. I agree with the death penalty, but not medical assistance in dying. There are things you can do to deserve the death penalty, but there is no action you can take where somebody deserves to leave the world by their own hand. Amen. That was a downer. Let's get to another entry.
Synthetic man is a part political streamer, put game streamer. He also does gaming and group content videos, so he has a content channel. He leans heavily to the right when it comes to political opinions, but he's very funny, especially his Jersey Panic video and his FF City Minecraft videos are hilarious. His content is similar to I covered him last time. I'll make sure to check out part 1 and part 2, everybody.
Nick Fuentes, oh my goodness gracious, where do we begin? He's a political commentator known for his anti-Semitism, homophobia, and drop-kicking disabled toddlers in wheelchairs. Just kidding, I made that third one up. Or did I? Yeah, I made it up. But you get it. This guy is no good. Beware. Researching this guy was hard as nails, hard as Dark Souls, hard as concrete, because this man has been deplatformed from every social media. I don't even think it's safe to talk about him. Alright, this man has disappeared all from the fabric of reality. Even the free speech alternatives, the only two places he hasn't been banned from my knowledge is like OnlyFans and Grindr. That's how out of pocket Nick Fuentes is. He even went on to say that other conservative commentators like Matt Walsh were for being employed by a Jewish man, Ben Shapiro. This brings me to all the weirdo terminology types like Nick Fuentes use. Like, it's like another language at this point. Like how he describes his fan base as the Groypers. Yeah. One last note to debunk a commonly spread myth about Nick Fuentes. No, he is not attracted to, or nor did he date a Russian YouTuber who dressed as a Catboy maid by the name of Catboy Kami. No, there is no proof that they had any relations. If you get that political reference, you're a goat. The only proof I could surmise was that they talked to each other, but only because they shared political beliefs. People make up anything for an interesting story, a funny joke, like I just did earlier in this entry, to just get a rise. Context being created where none existed. The infamous Persona 5 Kotaku article. There is a rather infamous gaming journalism article about Persona 5 and, well, more Super Smash Bros, but you get the point. This infamous article is called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC includes a disability slur, or some title to the same effect. There was a DLC for the game called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where it's a crossover of many video games, and it included a DLC character for a character named Joker from Persona 5. And he also came with a few tracks from his game and other parts of the franchise. And one of those songs was Wake Up, Get Out There, the opening track for the game. The article claimed that the start of the second half of the song had, well, I can't say it on YouTube, the R word, as we'll call it. Just know that that word describes Jake Paul, Jubilee, and most of Congress. The song obviously did not use that word. It is in the E10 Plus Super Smash Bros. Game. You just need to search up the lyrics on like Genius or in like a YouTube comment, or just listen closely to the song. It clearly is trying to say restart it. This article is used as wider proof that like games journalism is falling apart with lack of research, and just is becoming more and more obvious that you can find better journalism and commentary from YouTubers like yours truly. You know what? You could probably find better journalism from, I don't know, a homeless crack addict. This is in reference to a video that went semi-viral in 2022, 2021, 1984 by George Orwell, about a Starbucks worker who was complaining, saying that I have a long work day and a mean boss or something like that. I honestly don't know why this went viral. It was just a random person crying about a regular 9 to 5. Why do we make stuff like this popular in the culture? It made it on a Fox News. I bet it was a slow news day for the Barge and Knights of the Kingdom. I had a weird rant scheduled here, but no, I'll just show the clip and I'll let you decide what you think about it.
I wonder why we need a union at Starbucks, and
Number 15. Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus, but as it turns out, that might be what you get.
This is an intermission, an invitation to like and subscribe. Maybe even comment and share, you know? It only takes a matter of like 5 seconds to do so, and it really helps out the channel. So if you could be so kind to just take 10 seconds, you don't even have to pause the video, and you can really help out the channel, guys. Alright? Alright? You suck if you don't like and subscribe. Alright? But people who like and subscribe, they get all the girls. So make sure to do that. Melanie Hamlet. She is a feminist, a journalist, a storyteller, and alleged comedian, according to her YouTube page. She makes feminist content on her YouTube channel while expressing bitterness towards men. She makes almost daily content on her YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken, discussing her opinions. A video worth highlighting is why we shouldn't care about men's loneliness anymore. I'll roll the ending to the video, and you determine how yikes it is.
Lie alone, good for you. You made the bed, you lie in it. For men who actually want to do the work, who are actually genuinely interested in working on themselves, and I'm specifically talking to cishet men here especially, because y'all are the ones who are just so lost. For those men, I am happy. I'm happy to be here and support you. My husband is actively deconstructing patriarchy. Started 2 men's groups, is still learning a lot and challenging himself every day to keep continuing to deconstruct the stuff. So am I. I've got all this crap inside of me too. It just looks different. But for men who are just gonna put this on us, fork off. I hope you die alone. Because the last thing I want to do is see another woman die from an autoimmune disease or cancer because of being so stressed dating you. I'd so much rather see lonely men out there than a bunch of women who are a bunch of bodies left in their wake. Stop taking care of these men, stop enabling these men, and stop trying to fix men who don't even want to change. Because their problem that they created is not ours to fix. Because they certainly don't care about helping fix our problems. So, bye-bye.
Alright, I originally get what she's trying to say about leaving bad people in your life behind, but she delivers this message in a very, I'd say, irresponsible way of talking about how there'd be people better off if you died alone, which, golly gee willikers, Batman, what type of mindset does that closely resemble? So, yeah. Gender fluid and xenogenders. This Iceberg entry refers to concepts of gender fluidity and xenogenders. And no, this has nothing to do with the Aliens movie. Gender fluidity is a concept of somebody randomly switching genders to whatever gender they say they are. Xenogender is a concept of somebody identifying as like a cat or a cupcake. Why? I don't know really. But it's not as common as either side would have you think. Like, the right would have you think, oh, everybody below the age of 30 is going around calling themselves a cool gear water flask. Because that's what's on my desk right now. And the left would have you say, oh, this is just something that most people do. It's perfectly normal. But no, both sides are wrong about this subject, so you can just kind of ignore this because people that you commonly find outside kind of just don't use this, so you can be fine. Arasakamatsu, or Nyx, as she's now referred to as by herself, is a YouTuber who discusses games and anime in relation to politics. Her political edge to discussing the subjects on her channel is what sets her apart from the rest of her community. She primarily discusses the Danganronpa series, as discussed on last time on the Chihiro Fujisaki segment. Eris specializes in long-form video essays about things Eris likes. The most controversial one she made was one about the antagonist of the third Danganronpa game. So I guess you could say Eris is quite controversial in the community for political reasons and reasons relating to the franchise itself. I think the next entry is a gaming one. I'm starting to get bad memory. The Skullgirls censorship debacle. This is one of those things that has like a really deep internet rabbit hole with 2 really good videos on it. I'd recommend you check out if you're interested on it. But the long and short of it is that there was a fighting game known as Skullgirls that was primarily known for being a bit like raunchy and revealing, but then a bunch of stupid corporate types came and sanded over all the risque stuff, and now it's corporate approved, which, like, what gives? Like, this game wasn't being sold at a Toy R Us, so what gives those corporate heads the right to butt in? Again, it's a rabbit hole that goes deep. I recommend you explore it further. It's really interesting. Stone milkshakes. No, these are not milkshakes drank by Gorons. This is in reference to a controversy that happened where a political commentator named Andy Now had a milkshake thrown at him by an Antifa rioter. If you don't know, it's a anti-fascist, quote, end quote, group that enforces its political will in the public through force. It was reported that there was concrete in the milkshakes, thus making it hidden physical assault. people either cheered or booed the event because that's tribalism for you. He ended up getting a brain hemorrhage because of the event. To the hopeful side, he won the court case against the rioters and has recovered beyond belief. There are only like 3 more entries left in this stage, so just let's get to it. The alt-right West Coast phenomenon, or femboys as most people call them. That's why I'm calling you out, West Coast. This refers to a phenomenon of feminine men joining the alt-right, which is spearheaded by Richard Spencer and Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes being from earlier in this video, and Richard Spencer being from the previous one, so go check them out. And if these feminine men don't join the far right, they usually just join the normal right. It's a phenomenon people find entertaining because you usually find more gruff traditional types on the right, but you are mistaken. Not much to say here except for, according to Watch Analytics, literally nobody makes it to the latter half of my videos because people have like no attention span, because our future will deteriorate, and yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. So, Alfred Kinsey, this is going to be a very unique entry for 2 reasons. 1, he's a very contentious guy for reasons you'll find out about later. Also, 2, this is one of those very deep rabbit hole entries that you can research on your own. Speaking of rabbit holes, or that's not what he's known for, but I just had to make the joke. He is the most famous sexologist of all time, and a big influence on modern sex ed. Oh my goodness, YouTube is gonna send a gang after me for this part. Alfred Kinsey was born on June 23rd, 1894. Like the book by George Orwell. One of his major inventions was the Kinsey scale. It was a scale that went from 1 to 5. It proposed that gay, straight, and bi was a spectrum from completely straight to completely gay. I probably have it on screen right now, I think. Also, Alfred Kinsey experimented with the excitement of babies. Yeah, he did some nasty things to little kids' first research, which is why a lot of people don't like the guy that much. It was also alleged that he overrepresented prisoners and gay people while also counting single people as married. He has left a lot of bad in the world, the baby toucher, but he also left some good in the world, like normalizing discussions of sexology and sort of stuff like that, and being an influence on a practice in schools that prevents a lot of teens from having a pregnancy. And well, that's history for you. History is weird. Historical figures do a lot of good, but they also do a lot of bad. So, yeah, a lot of debatable morality in history because it's the study of mankind. It's very rare that we get pure heroes or pure villains in history. Almost never happens, but when it does, it's special. And this is the final entry of this stage. Let's go! 2030. You will own nothing and be happy. This quote comes from the villain organization, the World Economic Forum. It basically manages business, politicians, and the like. They're like a evil, villainous organization, from a turn-based RPG, trying to run the world from the shadows, atop this big mountain with this chamber they have where the final boss is. And annually they hold a meeting called Davos, which also sounds like the Spanish word huevos for eggs. I might get some coffee after this. It's where they discuss direction, or they will be trying to steer the world, basically. During one of these meetings of the World Economic Forum, they uttered the phrase, "You will own nothing and be happy." The accompanying and now iconic man in image is a man blankly and falsely smiling into the camera. A perfect snapshot of the facelessness and emptiness of corporations like World Economic Forum who want to make decisions for you and control you. The mission is to make sure everything belongs to government. People came together to reject the merging of all into one. The merging of all into one. I'll discuss that next time. The World Economic Forum even said that they would replace a bunch of jobs with AI, and they disabled comments from their videos, sheltering them off from the voice of the people. Alright, so the answer to this is punk music. Alright, the original recording had like a long rant for this part, but I'm just gonna quit the yapping. Well, that was layer 5, everyone. As you saw from the last entry, we will proceed to get more hopeless, but sometimes switching over to anger with a red hot boiling water splashing on our face, emotionally speaking. Who am I talking to? Nobody's watching at this point. Everybody clicked off at this point. Nobody wants to watch this. Am I boring? Am I too sad? Does everybody just have a rotted attention span due to TikTok? I can't even grab a single eye, but I can do this. Let's march into layer 6. No matter what, even if it'll be horrifying, even if I'm Sisyphus trying to grab your attention, let's head into layer 6, or stage 6.
Red.
Stage 6, post-awareness. We are at the point where all critical thinking and assurance has caved in to confusions and terror. Now this is gonna be the part where Hell's Roar starts reaching us, and we can finally hear it. Without further ado, I present to you Stage 6. This is in reference to allegations levied at a podcaster I discussed last time. His name is Matt Walsh. He received allegations, as it says on the tin. Matt Walsh was accused of being attracted to teenage girls in the year 2023. Before the popular Daily Wire version of the Matt Walsh Show, he used to run another podcast when he used to look like a crack dealer. On one episode, he talked about how different the old times were. Matt Walsh eventually started talking on teen pregnancy. Here is a clip from that show.
Hi, my name is Reggie. I like guys. I really like guys. Just something about...
Well, that wasn't the actual clip. Fine, I'll show you the real one.
It is not. In fact, ever since the beginning of time, teenage girls have been getting pregnant. It used to be more common. The peak, ever since they started keeping records of these things, which they only started doing recently, like in the 20th century, but ever since they started keeping records, in 1957 was the peak for teenage pregnancy. 1957, not 2009, not
then,
today.
All of them were supposed to have kids. Like, that's when you had kids.
That's my point, okay? So to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age that we consider young, 16 or 17, to act like it's a new thing is ridiculous. It's always been that way. Even biologically, and this is me just stating, I'm going to start by just stating facts. So fact number one, it's not a new phenomenon. Fact number two, in fact, it's a phenomenon that was more common earlier in history, and for first
less civilized
6,000 to 10,000 years of human existence, it was a normal thing. Fact three, girls between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile.
Yeah.
Okay? That's biological. That's a fact, all right? I'm just stating facts. That's all I'm doing. But what happened recently, and this is the fourth fact, recently in the last 30 years or so, we decided that that's way too young to start a family.
Why?
And because now
divorce rates would probably go up, and once you're that young, you can't really make sure that you know.
No, all right, pause it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's divorce rates.
Honestly, after listening to this clip, I do not believe the allegations of him being a P. Diddy. Like, sure, he does sound kind of weird, but, not a P. Diddy, Not a P. Diddy. I think people are just grasping at straws to cancel a guy they don't like, and I don't like watching his show, but I'm not accusing him of being a P. Diddy, dog. Like, bruh. Lucy the Communist. This reference is a controversy that happened probably before you were a twinkle in your parents' eyes. I finally got this right this take. People thought that old celebrity Lucille Ball was a communist spy for voting as a communist because her dad was. I found this fact not by Google, no, entirely because of my mom told me about it. So thank you, Mom. Couldn't have gotten this fact without you. Thank you so much, Mom, if you're watching this. Alright, the very literal wars on Christmas. If you follow conservative mainstream news, and you've probably heard about the war on Christmas, that refers to the perceived war that there's a war on even saying the word Christmas or anything Christmas related. I'm here to talk about literal, actual combat wars that happened around Christmas time. The most famous one is the American Revolutionary War. On Christmas Eve, George Washington invaded British headquarters when they were asleep to slaughter them. Absolutely epic. Next one is World War I. Alright, they took a break from fighting just to enjoy Christmas. So those are two history entries with the mad dog of YouTube, or, well, the bear of YouTube, but who's keeping track anyways? Nobody watched till this point. This refers to a meme about, well, the Las Vegas shooting, where Sonic discusses perceived inconsistencies about the Las Vegas shooting. I'll link the video in the description, probably. Yeah, go watch it. I'm not allowed to show it here, probably because copyright and, what the video contains, but yeah. The boiled eggs are classist debate. Yes, this is real, I promise you. This is a reference to an especially brain-dead Twitter thread. This Twitter thread argues that the insult "you can't boil an egg" is classist, by the opinion of whoever made the thread. The thread argues we should be more inclusive to people who don't get the opportunity to learn how to boil an egg, ergo we shouldn't make jokes about them not being able to. I can't anymore. I can't do this. Just read the thread that I put on screen, okay? It's insane what people say on the internet. Now that the Pokemon Company has a Twitter account and Twitter has changed its name to X, that makes two things named Pokemon X. I feel hollow inside after reading that. Alright, I'm hollowed. Oh golly, Miss Molly. We are here. I've been dreading this. Alright. Furry VTuber named Hypnotist Sappho. She is a streamer or YouTuber. Infamous for one video, and I think known for only one video. The video where she talks about being attracted to her dog. Yeah. She wants to do it with a dog. Even said she was proud of it. Even said if you're a bigot if you don't like it. Life is pain. We all know what should happen to somebody who does this sort of thing to their own animals, alright? I'm not allowed to say it. But I think we all know what we're talking about. This one video just ruined her career. Maybe I'll show a clip and then I'm gonna go throw up in my toilet. Sorry, harlot.
I am a zoophile. You did not mishear that. I am a zoophile. I do not have a thing for humans. I am more attracted to dogs like German Shepherds. If you are willing to stay and listen to my view and explanation, that is the point of this video. It is to show that there are ethical guidelines. It's not so black and white.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Remember when American politics was about things like spreading communist influence and how to combat it in foreign nations? Now it's about comic book characters and male pregnancy. Life is pain, it is rather survived than lived, and each waking moment is a winning battle. Alright, pregnant Joker. This is reference into something extremely cursed. There was something where the Joker got pregnant as a dude. I guess some people, like, someone's DeviantArt fan art was made canon, I guess. Either that or somebody came into work just absolutely in the clouds. Because later, he then vomits up a mud baby and everything proceeds as normal. The truth is somebody yanked it to this, probably. Like and subscribe if you like double bacon cheeseburgers, or if you haven't been happy in months. The Loudoun County skirt creep. Alright, this is in reference to a student from Loudoun County who went into a restroom dressed in a skirt to fool the guards into thinking he was a trans woman in order to sexually assault one of the young girls in the stalls. This boy has been spared large jail time and gets to walk the streets free to do it again. That's right, the guy who dressed up in a skirt and did things to a young girl, he's walking the same streets as you and I. So you might bump into him if you live in Loudoun County. So that's a fun fact. I love the American justice system. I love it. I love it more than anything. I love it more than my wife. I love it more than my family. I love this system. I love it. I love it. I love it. He did not actually identify as a woman, and anybody saying so is lying. Watch out for anybody using this incident to advance their stupid political arguments. Alright, the R9K femboy cult. Remember 4chan from last time? A site with many boards to use to discuss different topics? Well, you're back. again to discuss a cult that formed on the Robot 9000 board, also known as R9K. The idea of the cult is to get men who cannot get a girlfriend with their present circumstances and make them more feminine. The cult's main phrase to get new recruits and to reinforce faith in the cult was, if you can't get a girlfriend, become the girlfriend. They targeted these vulnerable men and made them join a special group chat where all of them would just satisfy the cult leader. Listen, this is YouTube, I have to use euphemisms. The cult leader's desires, and the cult members would be blackmailed into staying, consensual or not, with doxing, and this secret of the cult they're in being shared to their parents, and their school, and their workplace. One of these tactics to instill attachment was making the follower write his name on their arm. Yeah, I don't know if it was Sharpie or self-harm tactics. If it was the latter, that's even more messed up. To this day, we don't know if the story was even real. This could have been just folklore or mythology. It could have been a half-truth, or it could have been all real.
The truth is, they can make context in the modern news landscape.
Yes, making context. The act of lies and trickery, Photoshop, and all sorts of other tactics, with you being lost in the fog, trying to discern the truth in a valley of fog and lies. You never know. I only scraped the surface of the R9K rabbit hole. The rest will be a video I found. His name is Turkey Tom. He made a really good video on it. Alright, we're only a few entries, so we're done. Catboy Ranch Keffels. For context, there's a Twitch streamer named Keffels who does political streams and identifies as a woman. That's all you need to know before I tell you about this controversy. Keffels had a Discord server where Keffels told minors how to make gender transition medicine. Keffels admitted this. I recommend watching one of the videos I put up on screen, but that's more extra information. This is basically all you need to know for the information. It's kind of like the previous entry, but a little less severe and done by a person who's a little more high profile in the internet space. It's very simple. It's twisted tea, which is alcoholic tea, but it's communism flavored. What does communism taste like? I don't know. They have a pretty bad deprivation problem in communist countries, so I don't think there's much a taste to anything, because there's nothing to eat. But, whatever. Such strange, cool oddities like this is a reminder to always be searching for things you never heard of in life, to always learn new things, to be patient, and to be kind next century. It's me again. Remember part 1? You don't. At the beginning of part 1, I discussed Gamergate, or Goober Gabber, as I like to call it. In the section, I discussed a figure by the name of Zoe Quinn, or Zoe Q, as we'll just be calling her. Well, then, When I discussed her, I said she did something really messed up, but that's for far later down the iceberg. Well, now we're here at the really messed up thing she did. TLDR version of events was, again, this is another deep, dark rabbit hole. TLDR is, she falsely accused a man named Alcaloka of abuse, and, the rabid mob sended after him, led to the man taking his own life. Zoe put this allegation up on Twitter. Alcaloka just immediately lost everything in a few days like that over no proof. His developer friends and his fame. Alcaloka was the music designer for Night in the Woods, and everything snapped away from him with a second, no evidence at all. After his demise, the case was dropped. They just forgot about him. They just tried to leave him in the past. Think on that. I want you to think about that, even when you're not watching this. Next entry. This entry refers to the philosophy of hyperskepticism popularized by Rene Descartes. It states that you can never be actually sure of anything in life. For what you know, everything could really just be a dream, hallucination, or simulation. The only thing you can ever be sure of is that, well, you are alive and perceiving everything around you. He also popularized the term philosophical zombie or philosophy zombie, where somebody behaved identically to a human, eating, drinking, sleeping, and talking like a human seems normal, except for one thing: that man would not be conscious. His thoughts are not his own, and there is no actual life behind that eyes, but you cannot tell unless you are literally inside of him. Hey, oh, not like that. This is the philosophy that tells you to never take anything ever at face value, to never blindly follow the herd. To me, hyperskepticism isn't just the philosophy of the paranoid. To me, hyperskepticism is the philosophy of a rebel, to question what you've been fed. That is how a lot of revolutions and rebellions start in the first place, and it's all thanks to Rene Descartes, the GOAT. Yeah. Ooh, I almost forgot to mention that he was, he also, I did say his name earlier in this entry. Well, never take what you're told for granted. In the age of AI and biased news stations, it's important to take the skepticism of Rene Descartes to heart. That rhymed. But that's a little beside the point. If AI keeps advancing, then how can you trust anything is real? Has your girlfriend been just grisly murdered and replaced with an AI trained on thousands of hours of hearing your girlfriend collected by Facebook until all humans are replaced with AI? Well, that could be the case. You're in constant fear, but at least you're wiser than before. When I'm outside later today, oh no, I'm recording this really late, but wrote it in the middle of the day, or tomorrow, I'll be pondering about what I wrote in the philosophy of rebellion. Well, he just got 3 more entries to go, plus the conclusion, and then we're done, everybody. So yeah, it was a shorter one today, and hey, that's satisfying, alright? Just because it's not as big as the other ones doesn't mean it's less satisfying. Alright, so r/gainers. This refers to a subreddit about gaining weight. This is not a subreddit about, like, bulking, if you were thinking it was about that. It was just becoming as fat as possible just because. The way these people talk on this, like, r/gainers board about, like, tips on how to get fatter faster. It's like some weird alternate universe, like, fitness board. Like, yeah, this is how it works on, like, planet Jupiter. Well, on to the next entry. Alright, second to last entry. We're so close. This references, however, her gothic aesthetic kind of sets her apart from the rustic commentators in her field, but it ultimately couldn't save her from milquetoast commentary and being boring. Well, this is it, the final entry of this video and of this stage. This is in reference to an obscure internet meme of a kid sitting on a throne made of Pepsi cases. The things that this image is captioned with imply that politics is beneath the mind or priority of the character or / characters involved in the meme. Shame I must explain the jokes, but it comes with the territory of an iceberg, I suppose. Are politics boring to you? Remember the remark I made about me starting this channel because politics and mainstream news was ruining my brain? It was because I woke up to loss and hardship of seeing other people go through that just every day. Just the worst tragedies you could imagine. Tribes, clans, families, and parties, all rivaling with each other each day, all so monotone and uncaring. That's the meaning of this meme. Well, that ends this entry. Alright, here we are at the end of part 3. What is left remaining of the mind is dwindling. But bring it all you have into the final part. It will be something legendary. Nobody will want to watch it though. I don't want to let anyone down. I don't want to let them down. I don't want to let them down. I hope this didn't let you down. Please. I hope it didn't. So please come back for a finale that will wow everyone. So if you want to see one of the coolest finales of all time, I guess you can stick around for next time if you care at all. There's no song this time. Nobody, there's no song this time, buddy. Sorry. People only care about somebody's death when it's somebody famous or it can contribute to a political narrative. Children get dementia and, we live in hell.